We're live with another episode of Awesomely Autistic TJ, who seems to be enjoying his milk. Terry, can you say hi? You better not spit that. Hey, look. Can you say hi? Hey, say hi. And he's gone. So hey guys, it's Melissa and Autistic TJ.
Terry, hey.
He always does that in every video. We wanted to come on, and I said one video a week, so I decided to go ahead and talk about what life looks like after the diagnosis of autism. So most of you know our son was diagnosed, when was that? Almost 3 weeks ago. Monday will be 3 weeks, October 7th, with level 2 autism and globally developmental delayed. And it's been quite the journey, and it's only been almost 3 weeks. So we kind of wanted to share, like I said, what that looks like now, where we're at, what types of services we're getting going for him, and talk about emotions that come with all of it. So if you saw our video, when did we do that?
Last week?
I think it was Tuesday, the day after he was diagnosed. We came on, we talked a little bit about how we felt after diagnosis, and wow, have things changed. So, as you can see, Terry's frumpy. I've moved all of his lights, and I'm sitting in his chair. Let me touch his mic, just to make him angry. Should I have the mic right here? This is his studio, and I'm all up in it. He don't like it.
Your computer over there.
Really? You're going to do me like that? So, if anyone actually jumps in, where do we see them at?
See that big one right there where that blog says?
Mm-hmm.
That means somebody's watching.
Is there a comment thing?
They haven't commented yet, no.
The one is probably you, isn't it?
Probably.
We're just having
that's
fun
your
here.
numbers will come
Yeah, okay. So I'm learning. We've never gone live yet. I've kind of, as you... Apparently he's going to correct me all the time. If we weren't live, I would just go back, erase this, and start all over. But we're not going to do that. Anyway, so Terry shared last time we did a video how it hit him like a ton of bricks. And I kind of was in the mindset of, I knew it. Now what? Like, how do we get him help? What do we do? Where do we go from here? And so it's been a roller coaster. It's absolutely been a roller coaster, and it's not easy. So let me tell you, the first few days you have people inboxing you, sending you all sorts of information, doctors throwing information at you, speech and occupational therapists throwing stuff at you. Once he was diagnosed as autistic and level 2, they wanted to increase the amount of therapy that he gets, and so everything becomes more intensive. And so just taking in the diagnosis was hard enough, and then getting all these pamphlets and brochures and articles thrown at you. Everybody meant well. Can't deny that. But life with Terry, he's playing with the TV. Everybody meant well, but it was overwhelming. I must say that it was overwhelming. You have people trying to sell you CBD oil and talk to you about gut health, and it's insane the amount of things that got thrown at us. I know I got a lot of stuff. I don't know about you. But, everyone just really meant well, but we didn't have time to process the diagnosis, let alone all this information that was thrown at us. So if I was advocating for autism, I would say, the way you give people information should be a big part of the process. I know this is a lot of information. Don't feel the need to look at it right away. Process everything. When you're ready, begin to look at it. Because it was a lot. Do you have anything to say on that? So the first couple days, I was strong. I didn't cry. I knew I had to be strong because it hit Terry like a ton of bricks, and I felt, as his wife, I needed to be strong. But then I think I lost it. And I downloaded. I liked a couple groups like mom support autism groups and things in that nature. And I probably should have held off on that as well because that was overwhelming. And I let those types of pages consume me with all the information on top of what everybody else was sending me. So if my first advice would be take any information that the doctors and therapists are giving you, but don't feel obligated to look at it right away the first week because all of that takes time to get it set up anyways. And then probably, yes, you're going to want some support, but those groups are overwhelming. So I would just take it all in and then maybe go find one or two. I think I went and found 4 or 5, and so that's all I see on my timeline now. Have you decided to go in and find any autism dad groups or anything?
Nope.
No. Do you think that's something that you would do?
Nope.
No? Okay. I did it just to be able to connect with people that have been through it. Hey, Lana! That's what I was wondering, where those comments would come up.
Nobody comes on my YouTube, so I don't know.
Ooh, I feel fancy. I got a viewer besides my husband. Where was I? Oh, but I went on there to try to connect with people that have been through what I've been through and then find some information out. So that's what it looked like the first couple of days. Just so much thrown at you, you don't know what to do with it. So let's talk services. You've got infant toddler is what it's called here. In the Chicagoland area, we used it with Javante. It was called early intervention. And so a lot of the time, states will have 0 to 3 services for children that are developmentally delayed. And you can get things like speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, and they will come to your home, or you can go to other facilities. Some states, it's not just 0 to 3, it's 0 to 5. So I just want to note that. It is different in different states. So after 3 in Idaho, you go to the public school system, and they have preschool for ages 3 to 5, and they focus on trying to get the children up to speed developmentally where they need to be and prepare them for kindergarten. So we were given some information on infant toddler here, and the process takes so long to get into. It's okay. This is life with Terry. Come here. Come here.
He wants a remote.
Put his stuff on.
You know what?
He's all, this is life. This is real life here. He wants his show, and he wants it. Say hi. Can you say hi? Hey, look it. Hi. Say hi. He wants his show on, and he means business.
And it's all back in the bag.
Oh, well, he likes to be by us. So we are noticing that he wants to be by us more than just off by himself, but in a school setting, he'd rather be by himself.
Good.
Can you find the show?
He'll be on Netflix for us.
I don't know where I was.
Services.
Oh, yeah, services. So infant toddler. By the time we get into infant toddler, he's almost going to be out. But if your child's diagnosed with autism, you have the option to do infant toddler. They come into your home, and they show you how to work with your child to help make sure that they're going to succeed.
Good too on Dad. Tayo. He doesn't watch Tayo no more.
Yeah, he's changed quite a bit. So I do suggest infant toddler. It worked really well. Or early intervention, it was called back home. For me, I don't think we'll be in it long enough, but the plus side of that is they get you in with the school system. Everything's set up. You don't have to do that on your own. You have support doing that. So we're waiting on an evaluation. So what they do is they come in the home, evaluate him, decide if he's going to qualify for services, and then you can go if you don't have anything to say.
He's going to buy stuff. You wanted me in this video, I'm in this video.
Lana, help me here. Oh, my allergies. But, so infant toddler. So then let's talk ow! You just cracked my knuckle. What would you like? You want Hulu?
Put his arm in the back.
I understand. So, he was in speech therapy and occupational therapy already, only once a week. So we have increased his speech therapy to twice a week. And once there's some opening in schedules, then we will get him twice a week in OT. All of that will change once we get him certified through the state. So a lot of states have something called, the name is different everywhere, so don't quote me. But here it's called Children's Developmental Delay Program. And
so they say.
So they say. I also hear happy, what is it? Happy house?
Happy spouse.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Anyways, so I am trying to get into that program. That program gets Terry Medicaid. It will pay for all of his therapies, any sort of testing that we may need done. But it takes time, like months to get that going. And so a lot of people think like diagnosis of autism, and now I'm going to just go get him all these services. Doesn't quite work like that. Everything has an evaluation. Everything has a wait time. We're in Idaho. We have very limited resources here, and so it takes time. So I just want to note that if you think that you're going to get into these places and get everything set up within a month, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. We're 3 weeks out since his diagnosis, and we're still waiting on all the information for that program to be able to get him ABA therapy. In the meantime, he's been pushed out of daycare. You know, having a child that's autistic, you need extra hands. You need people that somewhat know what they're doing with that. And so he's home with us now. And that's scary in itself because daycare was a safe place for him. It was his routine since he was 6 months old. He was consistent. And so him being home, we're already seeing him regress because as much as we can try to make a routine here, it's not what it was in a daycare setting. And so that as parents, I think that's scary for us because we've seen a little bit of a progress in Terry since his regression. He wasn't laughing. Now he is laughing, which kind of concerns me because I found some stuff, but I don't know how to.
You know what? See, here's the problem that I'm having. I'm going to tell y'all out here. See, I've been silent for long enough. This is what drives me absolutely ape nuts with this woman. Is that...
remember, this video is not here to...
Once she gets to... She's like a dog with a bone.
Did you just compare me to a dog?
No, I said you're like a dog with a bone.
Your analogy was not... He's sleeping on the couch tonight.
You're tenacity. And so everything now is a diagnosis. Everything he does now is a diagnosis. So if he laughs, it's a diagnosis. If he's too giddy, it's a diagnosis. And I think that is part of her. That's part of her grief thing, and she wants to try to agree. What is it? Hold on a second. I can't read that. It'll be so good for him. Hopefully you'll hear something soon.
Let me know if I can help.
Yeah.
So
give us a date night. Do you want to take it? not saying like that. But
so as a mom, obviously, and I'm a student, so I'm all about the research with evidence-based stuff, you know. But I stumbled upon seizures that they don't look like real seizures; they look like laughing spouts. And for a long time, Terry has laughed out of nowhere and in this own zone, and we don't know what he's laughing at. And so, as a parent, you want to make sure that your child's not going without something being seen. If it is a seizure, then we need to know that this is what it is. So it's worth reading on it, knowing about it, and then asking a trained professional, because I'm definitely not a doctor. But if it's somewhat common in autistic children, then it's definitely something I want to write in my notebook, because yes, I have a notebook. He loves the notebook. Wait till I get to that. But I don't think it's part of my... Go get the notebook.
No, I'm not going to.
We're there.
Let that notebook stay where it is.
We're there. Go get the notebook.
I'm not getting the notebook.
Anyway, so this notebook, since we're on that, this notebook is where I write detailed observations. When we go to therapy, I write down things that we've worked on, things that he did, things that he didn't like, and then for home observations, I write down sleep patterns, things that he does throughout the day. It helps when you go to all these doctor's appointments. When they ask you questions, you're able to flip and say, well, on this day he did this. Well, he seems to be regressing in this area. Because as we go forward with all the therapy, I know from experience with Javante, there's just tons of questions. And if you don't take notes, you won't remember. So that brings me to advice number 2. Keep a notebook of observations. So you can find patterns of things that may be off or where regression or progression, so you can see those types of things. I think Terry's still in denial, and that's why he don't like all my stuff. Dad, are you in denial?
Yep.
He is. So Terry has a fascination with eating pins. And I've heard just about everything come out of Dad's mouth. Like, well, he ate that metal and the ink, and that's maybe, no. So I think I've cried about it. Terry's still in denial. I've let it all flow out between just everything being thrown at me, not being able to get services right away, him being pushed out of daycare. It was just a really stressful couple of weeks, and I can guarantee anybody that's gone through this, their first couple of weeks were just like that. And anybody that's gonna go through it, like, give yourself time to process. So, let's see, what else do I want to touch base on? Speech therapy, occupational therapy, ABA therapy. Let's talk controversy. So, wow, I didn't realize there's so much controversy in the world of autism. Probably misspeaking here. There's a group of autistic people that feel very strongly on how they are referred. And as a mom and being new to this, I want to make sure that I'm not offending anybody and I'm doing things right, I guess you say. So there's person first language and language first. I forget the exact terms, but saying my child has autism is not how the autistic world likes to be viewed. It's my son is autistic. And it's amazing just the flip of a word that is so offensive to people. And I didn't realize this until I went into these communities of like support groups, and I'm like, wow, this is overwhelming. What else is there? ABA therapy is really frowned upon with adults that have been through it that are autistic, and I can see where some of their concern is. But if it can help a child become social in an environment, I definitely think it's worth taking a stab on it. But you definitely have 50-50 outlook on that with people with the autistic community, and then moms of children with autism. They look different. And we're often talked about as, oh, the autism moms think they know everything. And look, I'm going to sit here and say I don't know everything. I'm just learning as I go. So it's really interesting to see the controversy in just in simple things like language that we think is simple, but to an autistic person, it is not simple for them and it's offensive. So, do you think you'd ever take a look and learn those things? He's bouncing the table.
I'm gonna be honest, because of my denial. My thing is, I don't think I will be. I won't accept it. I don't think, honestly, to speak honestly,
That's why we're here.
I don't think that I will honestly accept it until
Hey.
I, I get a genetic test done. If I get a brain scan or something.
Why?
Because.
So do you understand that autism isn't always seen on a brain scan? Okay. Autism isn't how the brain looks; it's how the brain works.
Okay, got it. But your brain works and it gives off wave patterns and links, wavelengths and all that good stuff. When you're in activity, when you're in a lack of activity, your brain does something. It's always showing
Seizures,
activity.
It'll show that.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I'm not. I don't think that I will fully accept it until, I get a second opinion because the doctor looked at him for 30 seconds and was like, "Yep, you're autistic." Like, no, it's just not.
It's a lot about behavior, social behavior.
Yeah.
There's
So I guess my thing is, why is it? How can a doctor look at a child for 20 seconds and say, and then not only
It was a
put not
half
not
hour,
only
which is a short appointment for an autism diagnosis.
not
Most are a bit longer. Ours was very short,
right,
but
and not only diagnose him, but then put him on a level. Like, let me see, huh? He's level 2. No, I'm just not.
do you think reading the DSM-5 would help you if you saw the criteria of what autism is?
Probably not.
I understand it's just a label for our child, but without that label, your child doesn't get help because your insurance doesn't pay for anything. So, I don't think that there's anything that I can say or do for him to come out of denial. It will just take time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I knew it. It's all gone. Terry, all gone. All done. Sign language. We're learning sign language. Dad, what sign language have you learned so far?
All gone.
What else?
Mm.
Show us what you've learned. I wish he was like more enthusiastic to do my lives like he is his lives. Go check
Because I
out the
don't want
podcast, The
because I don't
Brothers Who Talk. Look at
because
this shameless plug.
because I don't like talking about that.
Okay. Well, I won't ask you to come back on then.
Okay. This is your baby.
That's fine.
You've accepted it. I haven't.
You're also a parent of a child with
Understood.
autism.
Understood. But you accepted it. I haven't. So if you want to, I'll support you in any way. But if you want to be an advocate and all that, and you want to do videos.
You should have seen him when I was trying to set up this video. He was not very nice. Grumpy. He's grumpy. Anyways, so I think we get all this leads to I think we get lost in our emotions, and at some point we have to find a way to come to a solid ground and a level understanding. That way we can make sure that our children are getting the services that they need so they can live successful lives. This is TJ's journey to greatness because he's going to do great things even though he's autistic. And it takes time. So grieve. Grieve if you need to. Be angry if you need to. Be sad if you need to. Just don't stay in denial forever. Because if I was the only parent, if I was a single parent and I stayed in denial, there's a chance that your child won't get the services that they need. But our awesomely autistic son has 2 parents right now. And so while Terry is struggling, I have to make sure that I keep pushing forward and that I didn't stay in denial. I don't think I ever hit denial. I think I grieved. It's almost like I don't know if I can even say that. I better choose my words. No.
That's exactly what it feels like.
But I've never lost a child, so I can't compare it to losing a child, but it's almost like losing a child because we had a child that was so different prior to the onset of autism, and the regression was so drastic. It's almost unbelievable. And so I grieved. As much as I knew he was autistic and as much as I knew I had to try to get all these intake appointments and interviews and all this stuff set up for him, I grieved the loss of Terry prior to autism. And that's exactly what I did. And I called people and I cried, and my mom and my friends. And I just want to say thank you to anybody that's been there for us. Terry's social media friend, Nicole. There's just been so many people that have reached out and said, hey, my kid's autistic. Anytime you need to talk to me, let me know. So feel whatever you need to feel, but don't stay there. I think that's the key message, right? I felt some bitterness lately. I've felt some anger lately with everything going on. Sadness. I think I've really felt it all. I think that will all come for Terry at some point. And we'll probably do another video on emotions because this is a roller coaster ride. As you get denied for things, wait times for things, emotions they're flowing. As he maybe regresses because he's out of daycare, I may get angry again. I don't know. Do you know how hard it is to find a daycare that's willing to take an autistic child? I mean, we've gone into some daycares, and let me tell you, the reactions that we got when we started talking about our son and how he's not potty trained and things, you could automatically see that people didn't want to be bothered with your child. And then you call certain daycares and you talk about it, and they're on board. They know about autism. They want to help you. They take autistic children in. They make sure that if you don't know about the services, that they'll help you figure out what services they need, get them a behavior, get them paid by the state, get behavior interventionist. I think so. I think that's the word. Into the daycare. But guess what? They're full. So thank God my husband's not working right now. Um, because he's home with the baby. But that still scares me. So, parents, if you're looking for a daycare, know that it's going to be rough wherever you are, whatever state you're in. But make sure you do your research. Make sure that they're familiar with autism and what that means, and maybe what the little bit of extra care is that your child might need, or the extra hugs that they might need that day. A lot of people think that autistic children, and it's a thing. Like, it's a sign that your child's autistic is if they don't like affection. But Terry very much loves to be hugged and loves to snuggle and loves to be up next to us. And it's amazing to see all these parents that say that their children love affection with people that they're close to, just not obviously people outside of the family. And I'm kind of the same way. I'm not really affectionate with like strangers, right? So I'm interested to see if that will change over time with the diagnosis of autism. But again, I think we're gonna wrap this up here. Terry's getting angry. It's the longest video we've ever done. Oh, TV. Hey, you can't use Daddy like a tool. You gotta give Daddy that nicely. So where was? Oh, I was wrapping it up. I didn't even talk about sign language because Mr. Frumpy over here. So we've learned some sign language: candy, shoes, socks. Terry is starting to put his socks on. He did in speech therapy. So the occupational therapist comes out first. They do their little session with him, and then we go right into speech therapy. And so the occupational therapist left. Speech therapist came in. They were playing with these little Furby toys. And he puts his socks on. It's so funny because that's totally an occupational therapy thing, not speech therapy, but it was super cool. So we picked up socks with that. And then shoes. We found shoes that he likes. So that's a sign. Milk. We cannot get him to do milk.
He drinks all of it. He don't want
He just won't do it. He was signing please, and he's regressed in that. I can't get him to sign please for the life of me. But he's got that want down. It's like, poof, he knows what he wants. So we're just going to keep working with him on that. And I just want to thank you guys for viewing, for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. We're on the drive to 100. I think we're at 44 right now. Once we hit 100, we can make him a personal link. Be easier to share, a little personalize his page a little bit more. So go ahead and share this out, like it, leave comments. If you have questions, we'll answer them in the next one. Probably not the next one. I lied. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do my speech next. I'll just record it. I won't go live. A lot of people were interested on what my speech was about and how it went in school, and so I'll just record my speech for you guys, let you see that, and then so 2 videos from now we'll come back on and maybe we'll talk about like where we're at again with services, what have we gotten into, what else have we figured out, and then where Terry's at. So again, right now we're talking 3 weeks after diagnosis, trying to get all therapy figured out, a couple signs that we're working on. And that's about it. You got anything to say for our viewers?
No.
I'm going to let him go to bed. He is so grumpy, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And I was gone all day. What the heck? But, alright guys, we'll catch you next time. Peace. Where's your peace sign? Oh, it's only on your videos?